focus on hitting your goals in every area of your business. Remember, the universe rewards the bold. A leader has to take the risks. Welcome to the Wealth on the Beach podcast. My name is Daniel Alonzo. It's where we bring you some of the greatest minds in the world. We're talking money, we're talking business, we're talking health and wealth. And we are so fortunate today to be hanging out with a total absolute champion in the gym space and marketing space, really. Mike Arce is the founder, CEO of Loud Groomer, an agency that served over 2,000 fitness studios and wellness companies throughout the world. After spending 7 years in the fitness industry himself, Mike started an agency in 2009. And in 2016, he began exclusively working with fitness studios and wellness companies. He's a top host of a top fitness business podcast, the GSD Show, top entrepreneurial podcast, the GOAT Show, and of a top business fitness studio business conference, GSD Con. Let's give it up for the awesome Mike Arce. What's going on, Mike? Hey, I got to ask you though, because I was watching a few things on your Instagram. What's your favorite movie?
Oh man, dude, that's like saying what's your favorite song. It depends on my mood and what I'm doing. I'm not going to squat to Frank Sinatra. I'm not going to eat romantic dinner to Drowning Pool. So movie, if I'm in the mood for funny, I would probably say, any of the old, like I like Caddyshack and all the older stuff. If it's like, I love Rocky, Godfather. I love all the mob movies. I grew up in Jersey, so I like that too. And then as far as motivation goes, yeah, like the ones I posted. So like I love The Founder and, Wolf of Wall Street, Jobs, all that.
Love that, man. And so right now, man, we're going through some shutdowns, man. And I want to have that little conversation before we get into all the meat of everything. What's your thoughts about these shutdowns, man? What's going on?
I don't know what's going on. I think if I did, there'd be a lot of people interviewing me on CNN about it. What I do know is that, like the greatest athletes, you may not be able to change the calls, but you can definitely find ways to work the refs. And so at this day, I just got to know what the calls are, and this is the rules. And now how do I win with the rules that are given to me? And that's what we're doing. So, the industry as a whole that I work with, more than half of fitness studios and gyms have already closed permanently throughout the entire country. With the, thousands that we work with, I don't know of any of them that have, they're doing well. So a lot of it's, the only reason a lot of businesses in general, not just fitness, a lot of people are doing well is because we were in a booming economy. Once you remove a booming economy and you put a little tension, it's like bowling with the bumpers off, right? It's like you thought you were good because you're hitting pins, and then all of a sudden the bumpers come off. And now, the people that really knew how to bowl from the beginning, they never needed the bumpers anyway. So they're still hitting pins, and everybody else finds themselves in the gutter. So it's a little different once you have to know how to run a business regardless of the economy.
Yeah, one of my most important mentors in my life, she told me years ago, she said, because she's big in real estate, and I asked her, and this was back in 2009, 2010, when things were tanking for real estate people out there. And I said, what are you going to do? What, are you okay? Are you going to, is it, you going to come out? She says, this is how you find out who the champions are, right? This is the moment where you find out what you're made of. And I never forgot that throughout all these years. And so, yeah, I mean, gyms are tore up right now, right? I mean, what's happening in the gym space, man?
It's happening in the dentist. The same thing is happening in the chiropractor. The same thing's happening to everyone. If you don't have the ability to pivot and adapt, then you're going to die. Like dinosaurs saw it. So every animal saw it. If you can't adapt to the climate, you're going to die. And if you can adapt and evolve, well, then you're not only going to survive, you're going to thrive, and you're going to move up the food chain. And you're right. I mean, this is where you do find out. Apple, Uber, Spotify, Airbnb, Netflix, Google, Facebook, all these companies came out of a recession. Disney, GM, GE, my company was started in 2009, right? So I think this is where you'll find two things. One, people that shouldn't have been in business in the first place, but the booming economy were training wheels for them and allowed them to stay afloat. Okay, they're going to go out of business. And then you're going to have people that are really good operators, are really smart. They've really got the wits. The problem is they weren't challenged, and kind of like that kid that's not challenged in school that could have been freaking awesome, but he wasn't challenged. He's kind of just didn't really live up to his potential. You put a little stress on him, you put a little tension, he shows up. And so a lot of rock stars show up in recessions because they enjoy the challenge, they enjoy the hunt and the math that you got to do to figure out, how do I get around this? What are the angles? What's everyone not thinking of? And so this creates, this exposes people that shouldn't have been there, and it also exposes rock stars that should have been there.
Yeah, I was telling somebody the other day that I've been through I started in business in 1996 actually, and I've been through the worst stock market crash or bubble in 2001. Of course, I went through the real estate debacle, and I'm in financial services. I mean, thank God I stayed in the investment and insurance space. That really saved my ass in that situation. But I've been through everything, right? I'm going through the worst pandemic that in history. And I was telling people years and years ago, I'm like, you better get your social media on par. You better make sure you build your brand. This is a digital age. We are moving to Zoom. This is where we're going to house our lives. I mean, I sit in my house all day long and I do Zooms all day long. I mean, it's actually the worst, but the best that's ever happened to me. And maybe it's just that I'm a little optimistic and I'm always looking for the silver lining, but this is the time to be mentally tough, man. I mean, so, how important is it for people to be mentally tough right now, man?
It's important to be mentally tough all the time, but I think what you have to do more now than ever is really surround yourself around people that are mentally tougher than you, because they'll pull you up. And vice versa. If you put yourself around people that are mentally weak, they'll pull you down. So you definitely want to find people that are winning right now, and people that are not making excuses, people that do find opportunities, and the people that you find yourself making excuses, looking positively that the fact that they could stay at home so they can finally catch up on Netflix, like those people you want to stay away from. And so, but no, you've got to train that. That's being mentally tough. Your mind's a muscle like anything else. But you got to train it. You want your biceps to be stronger, you got to train your biceps. Your legs to be strong, you got to train your legs. And for your mind, my greatest mentors have told me this, and it's true. Like, you've got to be around those people. And if you were to play basketball with people that play tougher, you will become tougher, right? Just the way it is. If you have conversations and hang out with people that are mentally tougher, you will become mentally tougher. You're not going to stay at your level. You can't. They'll eat you alive. So right now it's very important. It's always important, but it's even more important now. And you've got to really be filtering out who you spend your time with and talk to.
Good stuff, man. All right. I want to go a little bit back. All right. I always like to do this, and I want to get to know you as a person. And I think our audience wants to know who you are and where'd you come from, man? Like, where were you born? You said New Jersey, but like, what was that like being a kid? And I always like to ask, what did your parents do for a living?
Yeah. So my parents are both immigrants. Hold on. That was weird. My parents are both immigrants. My mom came, she's Italian. My father's from Ecuador. And they both came, I think they were 7 and 13. They ended up meeting each other, in their early 20s. And I was born and raised in New Jersey. It was, I didn't think it was a tough town. I thought it was normal. I thought it was safe. I walked around. I hung out with friends. I didn't know anything else. And then once I moved to Arizona, I was like, wow, a little tougher than I thought it was. I felt like it was okay, but it was definitely a lot different than it is here. And but my parents, my dad's an entrepreneur. I wouldn't more of a self-employed. He's self-employed. He's been in jewelry, and what he did was he actually worked with companies in New York and all throughout that metropolitan area. And people that wanted, jewelry engraved or resized and stuff like that, he would go and make arrangements, get things collected. He would create custom jewelry. He would do stuff like that. So that was his thing. And my mom was always a working person, and she did a good job of like working hard. Both of them worked. My dad worked 18 hours a day. My mom worked in technical work probably 8, 10 hours a day. But then she came home, she cooked, she cleaned, she was also a mom. And so she never stopped. So the two of them worked pretty damn hard. And so my brother, myself, my sister, and I mean, it's, when we hear people like, oh, we need work-life balance, we're like, what does it mean? Like, you're done at 8 hours is that's the number. So yeah, for us, we have good balance. I had good balance. I had great balance growing up. I just think some people let society define what balance is in numbers, and it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how because I've interviewed so many very, very successful people like yourself. And one thing I find is that a lot of their parents were business owners and a lot of their parents were hard workers too. And so they saw that. And I always, people tell me, Daniel, you're working too hard. You need to spend more time with your kids, or you need to do this. And I always let them know that, look, I mean, I want my kids to see me work hard. I want my kids to see me doing things and achieving things and making progress, not just to do it just to make money, but to better society, to better the world. Like, are we making a little dent? Are we making a difference while we're here? And I want them to see that, because one day, they're not going to be 14. One day they're not going to be 18. One day they're going to be 35, and they're going to be out in the real world getting their, teeth kicked in, and they're going to go like, dude, I'm just going to work hard, man. I'm going to get focused. I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm going to stop wasting time on shit that doesn't matter, and I'm going to get after it. And so as a kid, do you kind of feel like you learned a lot from that, from watching your parents working hard?
Yeah, I mean, it became me. That was my environment, right? I'm a product of that. And also the work-life balance thing, I just don't know why people break it up and like, okay, work 8 hours, come home and spend time with family 5 hours, which, by the way, they don't spend time with family 5 hours. I hear they may get 15, 20 minutes in, but they're catching up on their phone. They're on Netflix. They're going out. They're getting food. They're going to gym, whatever it is. So, I don't think work-life balance necessarily needs to be in a day. And when I look back, and you probably look back too, I have maybe a handful of memories that come from a daily routine, right? Like at the dinner table. I have a handful at the dinner table. I have a handful where hanging with mom in the living room. But what my best memories are, the ones that we talk about at the table all the time today, when we went Six Flags, when we went fishing, when we went to the Grand Canyon, when we went in the snow, when we did all these big things, right? Though I have buckets of memories for that, right? Even just going camping for 2 days, right? That's what you remember. So for me, yeah, I may work for like an animal 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days in a row, and then I'll take 5 days and totally unplug with my kids, and we'll go to the beach. And I work from 4:30 until 7:30 or 8 when they wake up, so I'm still putting a half day while on vacation. And to them, these are the best memories in the world. So I have, and when I'm there, I'm fully there, right? So I'm not on Netflix. I'm not on my phone. Like, we are making sandcastles. We're running. We're finding shellfish. We're finding like fish. We're doing sea lions, all this stuff. So I think people just got to remember, like, don't let society trick you. It has to be a daily thing. Like, yeah, be present, but, build memories. Memories come from bigger things.
So what kind of kid were you, man? I mean, were you a good kid, a bad kid? Did you get good grades, bad grades?
I mean, I was a good kid in the sense of I had a good heart. And I think people knew that I was a good person and I meant well, but I did not get good grades. And I did get in a lot of trouble, but I didn't get in the type of trouble that bad kids get into, right? Like, I wasn't stealing stuff from people. I wasn't beating kids up or anything like that. I was getting the trouble. Like, again, a good kid just was bored, not challenged. So I would draw mustaches on the class president posters as they're going up. And, I would poke fun at the teacher while she's, wanting to work hard to teach a lesson. Stupid stuff I should have never done, but I did. And I discourage my kids from doing it today because I see it as disrespectful. At the time, I just saw it me being funny. And I was runner-up class clown, but no, I didn't get good grades. It wasn't until I started Loud Rumor, my company, about 10 years ago, that I met someone that gave me a book. That was the first time I read a book. I was, 28 years old. It was the first time I ever read a book. And now I've read 400 or whatever. I think the last number was like 380, but that was a few months ago. So yeah, I mean, it's changed a lot. I don't think education necessarily has to come from one place.
So the college thing, because I have this conversation with a lot of people, and the college myth, I call it the college scam. I mean, I believe college is the biggest scam, especially in today's world, because the truth is that, now I don't know whether did you graduate college at all? Okay.
No, I went to school for 3 years and I switched majors 3 times.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, I went to college for a little while, but I never graduated. And again, a piece of paper never meant anything to me. It was purely the self-improvement. It was after I went to school that I actually got the real information. All the stuff they taught me in college was all BS. It was all wasted fluff information. To me, at least. I mean, at least what I learned. Now, I get it. If you want to be a doctor, and I always have to preface this, but because some people send me a million emails, and you have to for economics major and lawyer,
well,
of course you got to do that stuff.
Yeah, my thoughts on it are, it's not so much a scam. It's been marketed really well, and it's a business, and our society is shaped by that. So I'm going to give you a couple really cool examples, right? So yeah, college, it's a business. Could you get value out of it? Yeah, just like you can get value out of pretty much any book, out of any sit down with any person. You could find the value. It's a choice you make. You could also find it valueless, like you could with any other thing. I don't believe people have to go to college in order to be successful. I think some, like you said, doctors, chiropractors, it's a requirement where you have to. I think now the government passed where you don't have to do that, which is pretty interesting and cool. But it's a business, right? So their job is to give people opportunity. And the truth is, you can learn in college. That is true. And it can open up opportunities because of people you meet. So that's all true. It's just not all it's cracked up to be. And the value is not worth the cost. But we've been trained, and it's been marketed so well that it's normal. Take marriage. Marriage has been marketed extremely well. Do you know where marriage actually stems from? Do you know why men and women get married? Do you know where that began?
Where?
Okay, that began hundreds and hundreds of years ago when, let's say you're in royalty, right? You're a knight, or you're, prince or king or something like that. You don't care so much about the woman. What you care about is your heir, the next person to come up and fill your shoes. The problem is you need to make sure that it's your kid. And so when you marry a woman, which began because of this, you're basically saying you are now mine. Now, it doesn't mean you're hers. It just means that she's yours. You can still go do whatever you want, right? That's at the time. And the woman just at this moment, she's now taken a vow. Only she has taken a vow that she is yours, so that she can't bear anyone else's child. And you know that that child's blood is royalty, and you can now make him an heir. That's where it came from. It was just to secure position for their government at the time, right? And then it became a little bit more. And there was no ceremony. It was just you make a vow, you sign your thing, and you move on. Right? And if you cheated, there was adultery, and it was a big problem. You're dead, So then it became this thing, and then weddings and white dresses wasn't a thing. It wasn't. And then when it became a thing, it was only for royalty because nobody could afford white garments. So it was only for royalty because no one else could afford it. Sugar was more expensive than like diamonds at one point because it was only for royalty. The wedding ring. That was a big marketed thing, right? Diamonds, my dad's in jewelry. I told you this. There's more diamonds than you can count right now out there. Diamonds are not rare. They are not a rare gem. That's why when you buy it, if you buy a gold ring, a white gold ring, you can sell it almost for what you got it for. Gold's a real commodity, right? Diamonds, you buy a 30,000 diamond ring, good luck getting anywhere from 10 to 12 grand for it. It's going to be very difficult, right? So they really don't have value, but they marketed it and they made it this thing before that company. I can't remember the name of it. It starts with a B. Before that company decided, okay, I'm going to be your agency to help you market these rare stones that you just got a shitload of. People didn't have any. They just put a ring. That was a regular ring. And then it was diamonds are forever. And then they said, how much did you spend on a diamond? They created it was 1 month's salary. And then everyone was so on board with it. Like, let's do 2 months. And then they were like, let's do 3 months. And it just kept going. It was all a marketing company that came in and built an entire, not company, they built an entire society like illusion. And that's happened for buying houses. That's happened for buying cars. That's happened for engagement rings, for weddings, for Valentine's Day, for Christmas, for so many things. If you really look at the roots for so many of these things, Christmas isn't even December 25th, according to what was happening 200 years ago. They weren't even celebrating that, not on that day. It was like March or something. I can't remember what it was, but so it's all been marketed, right? And anyway, I tell you that because I think one thing that I've worked hard at once I started reading more about this, I started getting good at like, okay, am I doing that because I've been programmed to do that? Am I thinking that because I've been programmed to think it? Or is it really the best thing to get me from A to Z? Because if it's not the best thing, then I should start thinking for myself as opposed to letting the programming keep getting me my engine.
Oh man, you're like so right on, man. I mean, absolutely right on, because man, we have just been so programmed and all these different things that you're talking about to just do it because everybody says, you know, and I don't know. I mean, just in today's world, maybe I'm just nuts, maybe I'm just crazy, but I can't get some of the you know, the information that the government is giving us even right now, right? I mean, this is happening right before our eyes. It's the marketing of a mask. It's a marketing of this, you know, you are safe if you do this, and we are going to, or even the government, right? Making everybody feel like they're going to be safe if the government is in your life. Yeah. Like we as business owners aren't smart enough to be able to run a business safely in the way that's protecting our clients. Like, why would any of us not want to protect our clients? If the client dies, that's one less client. So we want to protect everybody that comes into contact with our businesses. And so you're so right on, because I mean, I think that the world has become so, you know, so many people just become so many sheep out there just to blindly believe everything that people told them instead of actually doing their own homework and saying, is this true? Is this not true? Is this right? Or is this not right?
And you know, here's the thing, when it comes to like mass, I'm with you, right? It could be one of those things. Because I don't know. We don't have the intelligence yet. We have the best of our knowledge, right? Where it's like, okay, cool. I don't believe mass work or do work or whatever it is, but we don't know. But what we do know, because we've learned now, we do know that a diamond ring isn't necessary to get married. We do know that a marriage isn't necessary to stay together. We do know that college isn't necessary to be successful. We know those things now. So with the mass, we're still early on to it, but there was a point where, like, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't know, man. I think, you know, I'm gonna push back on that one, just because I really think, Mike, I really believe that what's happening is that, and this has already been proven, is that the way that we're speaking, the stuff goes through the mask anyways, right? And I mean, stuff gets out, stuff goes in. So it just makes us feel like we're safer. That's all the mask is doing, is makes us feel like we're safer.
It does, number one, make us feel like we're safer.
Right.
Number two, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Okay, I need you to be honest with me here.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
By the way, I'm not pro-con anything. I'm just, I'm open, right?
No, gotcha.
If I was speaking to you and we were, you know, in a crowded place, I had to speak close to you, like probably 4 feet away, 3 feet away. Right. And I was those guys where every time I said S, I spit.
Right.
Would you rather me cover my mouth when I talk or not cover my mouth?
I don't care. I mean, again, and I'm being totally honest. And this is why, Mike, let me just explain that. Why I don't care is because I've been doing it. Well, no. But I've been doing it. I've been around massive amounts of people for 24 years that I've been in business. And I've never had a problem. And look, more people die of the freaking influenza, the flu, than what's happening right now. But again, no, let me just clarify what I'm saying is that I don't care that much because I know I'm healthy. My immune system's healthy. If I get the coronavirus, I'm fine, man. I mean, a couple of weeks, stick me in quarantine. I'll be fine. I'll be out rock and rolling. Look, I've had flus in my life, very, very few times, but I've had flus that knocked me out for a couple of weeks before. So, but check this out, man. It's just common courtesy. Like when I talk to somebody, I always try to stay a little bit back. You know what I mean? I always give me space. You know, I try to do that. Like one of the things I can't stand is when I'm talking to somebody and I can smell their coffee or I can smell their cigarettes. If somebody can smell your coffee and cigarettes, you're way too close. And I could have told you that 10 years ago that they were way too close. So at this point, I just think that, look, if you shut down the whole world because you want social distancing, that's a problem. Because I'm a business owner and I'm an American, and we still should have freedom. Look, if your immune system is not good right now, then you should probably stay home right now. So that would be the best idea for you.
Here's a question for you. Because people ask me that all the time. Like, you know, I did a couple podcasts yesterday, and I've done a few last week. The question is, so what do you, like, you didn't ask me this today, but somebody did. Do you think it's a scam? Do you think this whole thing's a scam, the scandemic? And I said, I have no freaking clue. I don't talk to enough people that are closer to the top. I just don't. I have only what I see on Google and internet and all that stuff. So I just don't have enough connections to the people at the top that are close to it. And imagine, because it's possible, right? You know, there's the there's a name for this this phenomenon. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a phenomenon, and it's a plane, something plane. But here's the example of it. Imagine you're sitting at the DMV. You ever hear about the guy sitting at the DMV next to the woman with kids? You ever hear that example?
Mm-mm.
No. So let's say, do you like being I hate the DMV. Do you like the DMV?
Oh, nobody likes the DMV.
Nobody likes it, right?
Yeah.
We hate it. So imagine sitting there. You're sitting there, and there's this woman sitting next to you, and she's got these 3 kids. Call them 3, 5, and 6, right? They're just annoying asshole kids, right? They're just knocking stuff over. They're bumping into you. You brought your book hoping you get at least something done for the 2 hours you're going to sit here. They're bumping into you. They're actually like hitting your book out of your hand every once in a while, stepping on your shoes. One dropped chocolate on your shoe, your brand new white shoe. And you look over at the woman next to you, and she's on her phone flicking through. Okay. What do you feel right now?
Well, I mean, she should be taking care of her kids, man.
I'd be pissed. Like, how would you agree? Most people would be annoyed.
Oh yeah, of course,
Yeah.
Of course.
Most people would be annoyed with her, right? She's just going through her phone. These kids are just bothering other people, right? And what happens is your patience starts to run thin. Little by little, what happens is you go from that to giving her looks, and then you look a little longer. Then maybe you make some noises like, or then maybe you say something to the kid, and eventually your patience runs out, and you say, "Excuse me, ma'am, can you please, like, your kids are all over the place. They're bumping into everyone. They're doing all this stuff. Could you please, like, do something here?" And she looks over at you, bloodshot red eyes, like she's been crying all day, goes, "I'm so sorry. I know. Guys, come here. Their father literally just passed away yesterday. He's usually the one that's here helping, and I have to do funeral arrangements. I don't know anybody. I don't have any family, just by myself, and I'm sorry. It's my fault. I'm sorry. Kids, come here, please." How do you feel right now?
Oh, well, I mean, obviously you feel a little bit, you know, like, hey man, I should have maybe been a little nicer to the lady or whatever. Right.
Because you never would have guessed that.
Absolutely.
You never would have. So what happens is you ran out of patience. You had none left. And right now you have all the patience in the world. You might even say, "Hey guys, take a look at this," and show them some stuff on your phone. Right. You all of a sudden found patience.
Right.
Well, really the only thing that changed was not anything other than your awareness of what was actually happening. So I always remember that story whenever I don't know all the facts. And right now with the world, I mean, it's a global pandemic, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. What if there's something bigger that I couldn't even write up? I could give you 100 guesses to what's really going on, and it's 101. You know, there's some crazy thing that's bigger than anything we're worried about, and they're wanting us to just stay home for a little bit, just so we can just please, like, just aliens could be. I don't know what the hell it is. All I know is, like, maybe I consider the idea that I'm not close enough to the facts to be able to know, and I can only speculate the best I can. And so I think by doing that too, it keeps me more, you know, open-minded. And I've seen people wish-wash. I seen people go from like oh, it's a joke, to like, this is serious, wear your mask, and then back to like, oh, they need to open up, it's a joke. And it's like they can't make up their minds,
Right.
because there's so much,
Hey, fair enough, Mike. I mean, I get it. I totally get where you're coming from. And look, you're an open-minded guy. You're trying to figure out the facts. You're trying to figure out what's right, what's wrong, and you want to do what's right. And so fair enough, man. How does procrastination kill people's dreams, man? I mean,
yeah, I mean, well, that starts with the snooze button, right? It's the first decision you make is procrastinate. If you hit it, get shit done. That's my podcast right here is the GSD show, right? That's our motto. And GSD stands for get shit done. And so procrastinating is definitely not on our core value list. And, we joke around here whenever somebody is having a hard time doing that. I'll say, like, an employee, we got 40 employees here. I'll say, hey, are you GSSing right now? And they'll be like, they know what that means. That's getting shit started. Getting shit started is easy. Every entrepreneur gets shit started. It's easy to start a new project, start a new idea, start a new marketing idea, but are you getting it done? And sometimes it's hard, that shiny object, the flash in the pan. So yes, procrastination's that when you talk about tough mindset, it's so easy. A weak mind can start something. A strong mind can finish it,
Were you always this confident? Because there are people that are listening right now or watching right now, and they're thinking, man, I mean, I don't know if I could be that confident. I don't know if I could, be that mentally tough. Like, was there a point where it transitioned for you?
If I was always as confident, then I wouldn't have been, I would have been arrogant, right? So, and I think that goes for anyone, right? Like a person that everyone at one point, the top 10% at anything was at once the bottom 10%. LeBron James was at one point the worst shooter of all time because he had never shot a ball at one point, right? So you can't always be confident, otherwise you're just arrogant. I think what confidence comes from most often is just you're doing it and you're doing it well, and you're doing it well and you're consistent. And so Michael Jordan's got one of my favorite quotes. It's my favorite quote. It's practice like you've never won, play like you've never lost. And so when I'm at work or when I'm on a sales call, when I'm doing anything like that, I mean, in my head, I've never not made a sale. In my head, I've never not led my team wrong. I'm always on point. But when I leave the office, I'm reading like I have not figured shit out in my life yet. Like I still have waiting. You can't even compare me to a great. I'm so far. And so, yeah, that's what gets me reading. That gets me more motivated. So, and now that's cool because I get to have that. I don't have to play that guy all the time. I don't have to be at home like, oh, I figured it out. I already know everything. And also I don't have to be at work like, can't make a decision. Here, I never, like Jordan never lost when he's in a game in his mind. And at practice, he practices like he's never won a game. Like he still has so far to go.
Yeah, I think it's so awesome that everybody I talk to on this podcast, and we're having, we have some of the best minds, the greatest leaders in America and Canada come on. And the one thing I find is that we all self-improve. It's almost like an addiction. I mean, to me at least, it's an addiction where I'm always watching a YouTube video. I'm always watching something. I'm always reading something. I'm always trying to figure something out just a little bit better so I can become better at whatever it is that I'm trying to get better at. And it never stops. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how successful you are. You continually, there are billionaires right now reading a book trying to get better. And they made $1 billion,
Okay, so now that I know you're like that, because you're like me.
Oh my God, yeah.
Similar, and we're like a lot of people. A mentor shared something with me that's made a massive impact, so much so that I've adopted it throughout the entire company and my house. You mind if I?
Yeah.
And keep in mind, there's probably a billion things I know there is. There's a million things I probably learned from you, but I wanted to at least give you something in the audience as well. Yeah. Okay. So I went to this, mentor of mine told me to go to this conference. It wasn't a conference, sorry. It was a leadership, escape. So it was only 12 of us, and we were like no room, no windows, no clocks. You don't know what time it is. You're just there 2 straight days, 2.5 days. And we just got to go through all these exercises or whatever. And one of the exercises, first thing we got, as soon as they sat down, they had 3 ceramic teas. And they said, Okay, these T's represent the word try. You're not allowed to say the word try. If you say the word try, they're going to hand you a ceramic T. And if you say the word try again, you have 2 now in your hand. If you say 3, you have 3. How you get rid of the word is if you catch someone else saying it, and you got it. So you get rid of the T by giving it away. Ultimately, the goal is by the end of this to not have any T's left at the end. They explain the psychology of it, and it's really interesting. And since then, I've taken it to a whole new thing. So the word try is a bad word in my house. It's a bad word in the company. In fact, if you were to say that word around my daughters, or my son's older now, he's 13, so he gets it. But like if you said it around my 3-year-old or my 5-year-old, they'd be like if you said the F word, yeah, like, and in my office, everyone would call you out. They'd be like, "Ooh, you mean Will?" Right? So here's an example. In business, you're wanting to create certainty in yourself as perception for others. You want your employees to be certain in you. You want your vendors to be certain. You want your prospects, your clients. You want everyone to have massive amounts of certainty on you and the things that you're doing. And try is one of those words that eliminates certainty. I'll give you an example, okay? So let's say you're the coach of a basketball team. You worked your ass off all year to make it to the championship game. You actually got here. So here we are, championship game, okay? The other team's got the ball. You're winning by 1. They make the shot with 2 seconds left. Now they're winning by 1. You only got 2 seconds left. 1 play, that's it. You only have time for 1 play. What does every coach do right now? Timeout. Call them timeout. We're going to talk about it because it's a big decision, okay? So you, the coach, you got your players. You have to come up with a play. It's a championship play, right? And so you look at your 2 best players, the ones that have been consistent for you all year long. Their stats are equivalent. In fact, if you took the names and hit them, you couldn't tell them apart. Their stats are equal, right? Points per game, shot percentage, all that, clutch, all that. Now, you look at them both and you say, Mike, Joe, remember those 2 names, Mike, Joe, what do you guys think we should do? And Joe says, Coach, give me the ball. I'm going to try to make the shot. And Mike says, Coach, give me the ball. I will make this shot. Who's getting the ball?
I will.
Isn't that crazy though? They're identical. All season, they've been consistent for you. All season, they've been just as clutch. The whole game, they've been great. You're telling me you're going to base your entire championship game, the entire season, off of 1 word? Really? Yes. How many times do you think you weren't certain in someone because of the words that they used and you didn't even catch it? You just walked away going, I don't know, I just didn't get a good feeling. Or I don't know, I can't put my finger on it, or yeah, no, he was night and day. Why? I don't know, you could feel it. Why? Well, here's why. There's a lot of, I study NLP. NLP is an incredible way of communicating. It's initially for yourself, but then other people get from that as well. So use it in sales. And so there's certain words like try. So when I'm selling or when I'm talking to my people, I never say, the only time I say the word try is when I'm wanting to place weakness on someone else. So for example, can I do it for you real quick? Let's say I'm selling. Okay. So Daniel, thanks for making time for me here, blah, blah. We do a little report. Well, talk to me about the agency you're working with right now. What kind of stuff do they try to do for you guys? And they say, oh, they try to do, now they're saying it. They try to do this, they try to do that. Got it. So when they try that, is it just not working as well? Yeah, no, it's not really working. Got it. And so when they try to hit these numbers in the past, what did you see? Now this word is so normally used that they don't even pick up that you said it 8 times in like 2 minutes. No one picks up on it. Then what you say is you go, got it. Okay, fair enough. Where do you want to go from here? What do you guys do? Great. So when we put our numbers down, we will hit those targets. And if by any chance we don't hit those targets, we absolutely adjust and we set the new targets for the following week. Fair so far? Yes, great. We will show you reporting on a weekly basis. That is how it works. You will be communicating with our team on a regular basis. That's how we work. Now, what happens is they walk out, and according to everything, we're basically doing the same thing as them. The only difference is, what was it? I don't know. They're night and day. It's like night and day, those 2 companies. Why? Oh, one's so much better. You could just tell. They're like experts or this. Really? It's just word patterns, right? Same thing with so many other words. We don't say like want versus need. I need to work out. No, you want to work out. I need to read more. No, you want to read more. I need you to hold me accountable. No, I want you to hold me accountable. One is empowering, the other one's disempowering. And so if I want to look more powerful to you, I don't want to say, hey man, I think we need to do this. Hey, look, I think I want to do this. Hey, I need to read more. Hey, I want to read more. One's empowering, one's disempowering. So these little words that I'll tell you, that's a big part of all my scripts. We just changed this guy's script. I just put on my podcast on yesterday. So it was live yesterday. This guy went from, he wasn't able to get around price at all. Everybody he said he talked to, it was all about price. Everyone's price conscious because of the pandemic. He's blaming the pandemic. No one that he talked to would book an appointment. Anyone that did book didn't show, and anyone that showed wouldn't buy. He wasn't making any sales for an entire month. I looked at his script. I understood exactly why. We changed the entire script around, removed all the weak words, got with authority. Watch a podcast. He says it on there. I brought him on. In 6 days, he got 11 leads. He booked all 11. All 11 showed. All 11 bought, and nobody asked about price till the end. And a month later, which was that one Tuesday, yesterday, he called me for an update. He went 30 days at 100% close rate, 45 sales in a row, 45 booked, 45 show, 45 close. Not one person asked about price. He didn't do that in the previous 6 months.
Oh my goodness.
Still in a pandemic. The only thing that changed was the words that he chose to use, but we said the same thing.
Powerful stuff, man. Wow, Mike, this is so valuable to so many people. And I really appreciate you coming on. I mean, I think we could carry this conversation for the next 2 hours, man. Really, really amazing stuff. And I just want you to let everybody know that this was valuable, man. You make sure you share it like crazy. So we want to know though, Mike, how do we get a hold of you, and where can we find you if people want to connect? Because I know there's a lot of people that really are going to want to connect with you after this.
I'm most responsive on my Instagram. So that's pretty much the easiest way for anyone to communicate. So it's just at Mike Arce Live, Mike Arce. My last name is spelled ARCE, and then live. And
then how about website? Do you have a website?
Yeah, loudrumor.com.
Loudrumor.com. Okay, so all right, everybody, you make sure you share this like your life depends on it. This is such an important podcast for you to learn about how to stay mentally tough, about why you need to make sure you create better words in your life, and we're learning from some of the best of the best. Mike, appreciate your time so very much, man. And just want to remind everybody to dream bigger than ever, but get after it and do it now. God bless you. We'll see you at the top.